Executive leadership extends far beyond the boardroom. It involves navigating complex decisions, fostering growth, and ensuring organizations remain resilient in the fast-changing business environment. In today's conversation, I am joined by Loyce Oluoch, an African strategic leader with experience across different disciplines. Loyce, over to you. How are you doing?
Very fine, Mary. It's good to be here.
Perfect. Could you please tell us more about yourself and what you do?
Thank you very much. So, my name is Loyce. I'm basically a Pan-African leader. I have over a decade of experience in leadership and governance, and my experience cuts across different countries and different disciplinaries. For instance, lure, mining, gas and oil, FMC, and currently iGaming.
Perfect. Your career spans across commercial law, corporate governance, executive leadership across different African jurisdictions. How have these disciplines shaped the way you approach leadership?
Okay, so while every discipline is unique and it comes with lots of challenges, but then I've learned through challenges to be a person of highest integrity and also a very good listener, because for me to be able to understand where my inputs are useful or how am I going to put my inputs in a specific business, I have to also listen, understand the needs and the requirements of that particular business. So generally it has given me ability to be a very good listener, a person who focuses on growth, and therefore I am able to balance strategy ambitions with discipline and executions.
Perfect. And Loyce, how would you define responsible leadership?
So to me, responsible leadership is the ability to adapt to the environment. I mean, the work environment or the space where I'm called to either consult or work in, but also understand the culture, to have the culture intelligence of the place, understand the technology and technology curiosity of the organization. But also I feel like corporate responsibility should also be one of the best core for a responsible organization. I would look into how often or how do they invest on corporate responsibility, especially to the society or places where their businesses are run. So that is how I would define responsible leadership.
Thank you very much, Loyce, for that. You are an executive leader, and leading across different African markets requires the careful balance of navigating the different legal landscapes between all these markets. What principles have enabled you to succeed?
I think first and foremost, I'm a very good listener. So I think when you join an organization or a company where you're called to do a consultation for a business or a specific task, the first thing you have to understand is you have to be a very good listener. By listening, you get to understand what these people their needs, but also what they've been through and what part of solution do they need, or how will I cater for their needs at that particular time. So listening is one of the things I'm very good at, and I make sure I listen to everyone from management level to mid-level to normal people, so that I get to understand also their understanding of the business, and so that when I'm planning my action plans on a specific, or how am I going to move this business from one place to another, they should also align with the local people as well. But one thing that stands out in all these businesses, whether it's iGaming, mining, lure, corporate consultation, and legal work, is integrity. Being a person with high integrity takes you further, because integrity gives you an autonomy of serving many people as you can, but also I'm very transparent on the ways or action plans I'm going to use. So they're not going to stand as vague plans for my clients or for my management. They'll be very transparent in a way they understand that solution to this would be 1, 2, 3, or this is going to be my action plan for that particular task. So I'll just summarize them into 3. Be a very good listener, transparent person, and a person of integrity.
Well, that's perfect. And you mentioned you have a background in law. From your perspective, why is governance and compliance very two competitive advantages in today's world?
So I think it favors me more as a lawyer. So we are more of a risk assessors. When something comes to me, whether it's positive or negative, I always focus on what could be the risk here for the business. So I think for us lawyers, naturally, we are taught to see the risks more than any other thing. So that gives us a very good keen eye on compliance. We have to make sure that everything follows the law of a particular country or regulators principles, so that it can help on the governance long term, because currently we see so many businesses falling because of non-compliance, especially in iGaming. We'd see in UK where some big companies have penalties. So it serves companies costs, also reputation. Being a compliance company gives you a very good reputation. And I'll give an example. For example, where I am now at Choplife, we have had birth certificates for tax compliance for 2 years in a row now, and that puts us in a very good space compliance wise. So compliance turns the governance, like when a company is compliant, then governance becomes very easier. And this is why these two aspects of corporate settings are very important to each other.
Thank you very much. And from your experience, what distinguishes a company that scales successfully in Africa?
Oh, I think that a company that invests more on its people. Mm-hmm. When I walk into a room, I think I normally evaluate from the first person I meet, whether it's reception to the highest manager in the company. And just by the look of those people, you recognize that this company is investing on their people. Because when you invest on your manpower, especially in Africa, we're not yet there. When you invest on an African child, they tend to give you more than what you even pay them for. So one thing that stands out to me is how these people all companies invest in people, but also how they deal with their partnerships. So I'll look into their partnerships, whether it's agreement or partnership relationships. I'll ask around that, because the partnership relationships would also help you understand whether the company is really going to stay in the continent long term. Some partnerships here have very bad terms and conditions that really do not last them for a long period of time. So, but also how they execute their policies. If their policies are communicated to everyone in the company. There are companies that policies are only understood by the management, and then management would want automatically these people to deliver. So if you have a policy, let's say this is our 1 year policy, but this is the quarterly plans. If they're communicated well to the managers and people down from managers level, top level to maybe the lowest level, then it's easy for these people to work towards a common goal. So I'll look into their partnership relationships locally and outside Africa, but also how they invest in people. But also I will look into how well do they communicate their plans, long-term and short-term plan within the company.
Perfect. And as you work every day, how do you align, the boards, the management, the investors, the regulators? How is that like on a day-to-day?
So earlier on, so I normally divide these things into quarterly basis. So every quarter, I would want to understand what is their goals. What do they want me to achieve, or what do they want me or the organization I did to achieve on a particular quarter? And at the end of that quarter, we would sit down and evaluate things that were achievable and things that were not achievable, and why were they not achieved. So that way it gives me also a room to get to understand the people I work with more. But also transparency is very important. Being able to communicate on real time on what is going on, or communicate your day-to-day businesses, because my experience is more on operations, and as an ops person you have things going on daily basis. So I think my ability to communicate my day-to-day ops with that senior management, it puts us in one language, because nothing will come to them as a surprise. They'll get to know things from the, you know, where they start to where they end in real time. So transparency stands as a key factor to me, but also how I execute these plans. I would like to have yearly plans, quarterly plans, well divided, well distributed, and I work on feedback as well. Feedback is very important to me, because through feedback then you get to understand whether you're doing well in a particular task assigned to you or not, and areas of improvement.
Perfect, thank you. And we have the next generation of leaders. What, from your perspective and from what you've seen, what capabilities will future African leaders need?
I think they'll need to understand more, know technology. We are headed to a world where AI is used almost in every places, and most of our jobs are being replaced by it. So as a future leader, I think unlike millennials, they should learn or try to align their education and work with technology, because technology grows very fast, and they won't rely really on the local, you know, the bachelor degrees and masters we have. So one thing, and if I'm talking to a future leader right now, person aspiring to be a manager, an executive, a CEO or anything, I think invest more on technology, tech courses, online courses on AI, and also learn to understand tools that assist you on your work. Nowadays there's so many tools, from calendar to, you know, cloud to ChatGPT. So these tools are there to help us. So we shouldn't let, especially Africans, we have tendency of ignoring technology. So we shouldn't just let it pass by, but we should be part and process of the growth. So for me, I would advise a future leader to be careful and watch out on technology, because technology is key.
Well said. And when you look at corporate responsibility, how do you make social impact strategic and actually make an impact? Yeah.
So back then, it was, I would go for an interview, get a job, and that's it. But I think I'm in a stage where I get to ask an organization, before I join an organization, what is your CSR plans? Because we need to give back to, so it's not about working, executing, and earning money. I think I also have to impact the community we are doing business in. Okay. So I am so proud of, for example, with Choplife, where I am right now, because every time I run to the board or to the chairman with some CSR suggestion, and they have so many CSR initiatives that are really good. As a leader, as a country manager for Tanzania, I am so proud to be part of their group, because they get to give back to the communities where they aim from. So I would encourage other companies to follow the same lead, or if they're doing so, they should have a specific budget for it. CSR should be part and parcel of the business, because eventually we have to impact the communities we serve. And on personal basis, I am so eager to be onboarded on teams or organizations that have a CSR budget, because I feel like I need to impact the society where I'm doing business in.
There you have it. Now, Loyce, we've seen more women now wake up and try to, not even trying, they're actually defying society norms and earning places in executive tables. They're earning roles in decision making. As an executive leader yourself, what advice would you give emerging women leaders, and what should they be on the lookout for? Yeah.
I think number one thing is they should take care of themselves. invest on your mental health, invest on your confidence and yourself. Because I think good energy comes from within. And so the burnouts, the long waking hours do not take you anywhere. And if it does, it won't stay for a long time. So invest on yourself. That is number one. But then we shouldn't just be saying there's no room for women while we also don't want to invest on the competence of the roles we are looking forward to. For example, you want to be a CEO and in a business, but the only education you have is bachelor degree. Well, you'd have your fellow colleagues at work who, they are pursuing masters, they're pursuing certifications. So despite that, we want these men or the society to create a room for us. I think it's very important to also have the competence so that when that position comes in, they should find you prepared with the enough competence to, get the position. But also remain authentic to yourself and to others. Just be real to people and give out, what is you, and then give a chance of correction. Because through correction, people will correct you here and there. And then it's through that kind of, those kinds of corrections where you get to elevate yourself further. But also build on relationships, networking, I'm very introvert, but then I think for the last 3 years, I'm really learning to evolve, going on career seminars, anything that I feel like aligns with where I am now or aligns with the person I want to be. So through networking, you also understand or learn, meet mentors, learn from others who have, go there before you, to understand what skills do you need to become the leader you want to be. But also leadership is aimed through consistency. So as a woman joining any organization now, you have to understand it doesn't happen over time. So choose a specific thing that you're good at. I chose leadership and governance, while I could just be any lawyer in courtrooms today, but I chose to be a corporate leader. And through consistency and through 10 years of my, putting so much into leadership, into governance, I've got to be in positions that are really good at the moment. So I feel like let's give time as well. Like time is everything. Let's give ourselves time. Let's not push very hard, because you can't be a CEO overnight. You need so many skills to get there. So instead of pushing ourselves harder, let's just be consistent on what we do, and then be a person of service. I normally say, I am here to serve. I am happy to serve you. I'm a leader who serves my people. So I think a person who serves others would really get reward, and the reward is always from God, but also the universe will reward you. So in whatever you do, be a person of service. And your leadership roles, for those that have already impact someone's life, life, because some of us are meant to be there to become mentors, but you're just not there because of anything. It's by the grace of God. We are where we are now, and we should also be grateful to that. So personally, I'm very grateful for where I am, and I know it's by God's grace I am here, and not on my own abilities, capabilities, or any skills that I have.
There you have it. Invest in competence, remain authentic, build relationships, and continue learning. That's the recipe for growth. And my last question to you will be, we are in Africa, we work in Africa. What is that one thing or several things that make you excited about Africa's future?
I think the demographic strength of Africa now is very good. We see so many countries like Kenya and other countries, Rwanda, where they're now removing visa for African countries. And if many countries would onboard on this visa-free process, then Africa could become one of the strongest, continents in the world. And I see so many opportunities on digital transformation, because technology and digital transformation has been in Africa. It's not over 5 years, so there's still opportunity there compared to Europe and other continents. But also, I see an entrepreneurship energy. If I go to Kenya, you'd see so many startups. But even if we read the data, there's so many startups in West Africa, Eastern Africa. So many countries now are working, many youth now in so many African countries are not only relying on the government jobs, but then they're pushing themselves harder to become entrepreneurs. And that means creating jobs for themselves, but also jobs for others. So I see an entrepreneurship continent in the next few years. And I hope to contribute by helping and building resilient institutions, startups, and create a very inclusive and sustainable growth across the continent.
That is very powerful, Loyce. And there you have it. So it has been an interesting conversation. I loved it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you
It's good to join you here.
Perfect.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.